am here with your 1.7 video 2 video, planning the Frederick Douglass essay. And the objective of this lesson is I can investigate my line of inquiry and plan my essay. So let's get going. All right, here's where we're headed. This essay eventually is going to be typed in the Schoology assignment labeled Frederick Douglass essay. Don't make a copy, but just type right directly into the assignment. Explore a line of inquiry of your choice. Examples are in your packet and in this document that makes an argument about the topic, drawing an interpretive conclusion. So you'll start with that question, but then you'll have an answer to it. And it will make an argument, so something that's debatable, and it'll make an interpretive conclusion, something that requires some real brainy thinking. And we'll look at some examples at the end of this video. Use the best examples with many specific textual details to support your assertions. Now notice that I didn't say quotes. Quotes are great. It's awesome to have lots of quotes, but using specific textual details is also very good. And so that's what I've been making you do in these mastery checks, is to have at least 5 specific textual details. So keep that in mind in the summative assessment too, in the essay, that you want tons of specific details throughout. Include an analysis of authorial choices in your essay connected to your line of inquiry. And that should really be explained in the thesis statement as well. Any direct quotations need to be short and integrated into your own sentences. And the higher level essay, once you're done, is 1,200 to 1,500 words. For this essay, shoot for 800 words or more. I will only be grading this essay on 2 criteria. Criterion A, knowledge, understanding, and interpretation, and criterion B, which has to do with analysis. But let's look at criterion A first. For criterion A, these questions come from IB. How well does the candidate demonstrate knowledge and understanding of the work or text chosen? How do I look for that in your essay? Well, I'm looking for these things. Have you dealt with all parts of the book, beginning, middle, and end? Do you use details? Things like proper nouns, dates, time periods, chapter numbers, instead of general terms, like back in the day or early in his life. Be more specific than that. To what extent does a candidate make use of knowledge and understanding of the work or text to draw conclusions in relation to the chosen topic? That's IB speak. Here's how I look for that as a teacher. Have you answered the question, so what? So what why do we care about this? Why is it important? Why should this matter at all to us? That should be clear in your essay. Also, is your argument interesting and debatable? If you have an argument that is not debatable, in other words, no one would say, hey, I don't see it that way, I see it this way. That means that the argument is not really an argument. Okay? So you want it to be debatable, you want it to be interesting enough that somebody could take an opposing opinion, an opposing side, and potentially argue an opposing side. How well are ideas supported by references to the work or text in relation to the chosen topic? Here's what I'm looking for. Have you supported every assertion with textual evidence? And how good are your examples? Are they the best ones that could be used? So there's a difference between, well, that example works versus that is the most salient example that could be used for that particular point. All right, criterion B is the other criterion that I'll be grading for this essay. To what extent does the candidate analyze and evaluate how the choices of language, technique, and style, and broader authorial choices shape meaning in relation to the chosen topic? That's IB speak. Here's what I mean. What authorial choices will you use to argue your interpretation? Have you found examples from all parts of the book, beginning, middle, and end? Did you name each example and claim each using DITS analysis, getting to the elements of language analysis, diction, imagery, tone, or structure? Have you evaluated the effects of the authorial choice on thought and feeling? Have you interpreted is a cool word, interpreted the meaning of each example of the authorial choice by explaining a connection to theme? So there are really 3 levels here: analysis, evaluation, and interpretation. Interpretation is under letter A officially, so I've included it here when really maybe it belongs in criterion A. All right, why are we doing all this? Well, because in the end, you do have to have a higher level essay that you turn in for this class for your first semester exam grade. It will be worth 10% of your semester 1 grade. This final higher level essay eventually is going to be worth 25% of your IB score. So here's a visual on that. This is your higher level essay. Whoop-de-doop. Here is what you did last year as an 11th grader, the internal assessment. And then here is that exam that we have to do in May. It can be written on any work, the one that you submit to IB, that you haven't used for your internal assessment. So most of you guys did Persepolis and First They Killed My Father for your internal assessment, so you wouldn't be able to do that. But you really could do any other text you want. Now, for the essay that you're writing for the end of the Frederick Douglass unit, you have to write on Frederick Douglass. And that essay, once it's completed in its first draft form, you can revise and add to it in order to get it to this higher level essay. And we'll be doing that again with our next text, which is Men We Reaped by Jesmond Ward. So you'll have at least 2 possible essays to use for this already written. But officially, you can use a different one if you want to. Get back to the sample lines of inquiry. Which of these lines of inquiry speaks to you? They are in the packet. I have them again here. They're also in 1.7. And take one and start thinking about how you could answer it. All right? There are tons of different lines of inquiry, and these are all based around the 7 central concepts of IB, and they're basically example lines of inquiry that I wrote. So you can use one of these, or you could use part of one and tweak it, or you could come up with your own totally different line of inquiry. It really is up to you. The thesis statement that you need to complete for 1.7, and I wanted you to take some notes on this right here in 1.7, needs to make a specific claim about the line of inquiry you have considered. That includes authorial choices, which are aspects of language style, dits, whatever you want to call them, a theme, so that is the sort of larger so what stuff that connects to the authorial choices, and the meaning that is created. So that's the interpretation, how the use of the authorial choices makes a point about freedom and literacy, about the journey, about the communal over the individual, or one of the other themes that we have been tracing. Here's a sample essay thesis statement that comes from IBO, and they put this in their teacher sources. So I wanted to show this to you. This is about Persepolis. Satrapi uses the motif of the hijab. So here's an authorial choice, that's why it's in purple, in order to signify the effect of society on her own life and convey her growth as a person. So here is the connection to the meaning, or the creation of meaning, and Orange's theme. So the hijab manifests itself in 3 ways. Initially as devotion and revolution, eventually morphing into that of oppression following the rise of the Islamists, and finally representing redemption as Marjane returns from Austria, which parallel Marjane's own growing personality as she ventures through the different stages of her life. It's a complicated thesis statement, and it did get some comments from the IBO examiners saying that it maybe was biting off more than they could chew. Here's one that from a Cooper student on Frederick Douglass. Their line of inquiry was, how does Douglass use the craft of writing and his ability as an articulate hero to become free and help others to become free? And this was one of the samples that I gave. And the student took some time then, after choosing that line of inquiry, to find some good examples and to really dig deep into this question to answer it. And here's their answer that they wrote in the form of a thesis statement. Douglas references the craft of writing and the tools involved in order to show that literacy is central to being free. Literacy allows Douglas to achieve freedom in the end of the book, not just in body, but in mind. Good luck as you craft your thesis statement, and let me know how I can help you.